What's going on? What's going on, fam? This is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, coming to you live on this very late Sunday evening, early Monday morning. However you want to split it is up to you, folks. But thank you for joining us for this very special edition of Steven Steele Live Midnight Mass. I've been incredibly busy running my day business and day affairs. By the time you see me come on live on these very late shows, it's not that I'm intentionally wanting to do streams this late. This is literally the earliest that I can get to you guys, given my hectic schedule lately, by the time I get done making my notes and putting a show together. So thank you for staying up with me, guys. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna have a great time. So just get settled in with whether you got a cocktail or some chamomile or something in between. Get settled in. We're just going to get down to it, Poppers. Before we begin, if I could just ask you to hit that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help out the channel like this, reach more people, etc. And if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you to Steven Steele Live. And of course, Steven Steele. Some folks have taken to calling me Real Deal Steven Steele. We have an awesome community here, and I want you to be a part of it. So hit subscribe, hit all on that notification bell. Ascend with us to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Lastly, if you feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this broadcast, that's obviously immensely appreciated for all the time and efforts put in. Without any further ado, let's see who is active so far in the chat tonight. We've got Emperor Doge, Miles Connor, good to see you, Miles, Hector the Dude, Zombie Doge Army, Audio Freak, Alan Schneider, of course, Scotty Suitcases, good to see you back in the mix. Hump Deezy, of course, the Hump Deezy, Richard Cheese, yes. Esteban, good to see you, Corey as well. Who else do we got in the mix? Looks like a Russian name that I'm not quite sure how to pronounce, but welcome to you. And who else do we got? Larry Ramirez, Tim H. I think I got it wrong. Oh, Dr. Dibbs, Alex C. Christopher James, etc. Christopher saying Doge President's Day sale. That's a nice spin on it. I like that. And we're gonna get down to all that. I see what nice name there. BO. I'm in a gentleman's club, but here tuning in to Steven Live. That's an interesting combination, and I approve of that message. So welcome. Jason Huffman also in the mix, holding it down on mod duty. So thank you for that, guys. Thank you for that. Yeah. So the market keeps crashing. It just keeps crashing. There's no other way to put it. We are in bearish times, indeed. Right now, let me pull up some basic stats and put it out there for you guys and let you guys know what I'm thinking. So Bitcoin is trading just a little bit above 39,000 as we speak, down 6 points over the last 24 hours, but up a little bit, about a point over the last hour. Ethereum now trading under 28,000 or 20,000, under 2,800. But it was much worse yesterday. So we're seeing a very interesting dichotomy right now at play where Bitcoin is still struggling greatly. Ethereum bouncing back with some very bullish behavior today, coming up 4% over the last 24 hours. Nothing to sneeze at, folks, considering Ethereum's market cap is somewhere around 329 billion. Of course, ADA is up a little bit today as well. That actually surprised me, 3.5%. So we're seeing some mixed reactions in the market, particularly over the last 12 hours. Dogecoin right now up about 2.5%, but still struggling to maintain at the 14-cent line, trading dead even over the last hour. Now, what does this mean going forward and what's going on? As I expressed a few shows ago, I do think that the president's announcement of an executive order to launch a basically crypto crackdown regulation and basically a new sector of the government to handle those things, I think really injected a lot of fear in the market. Of course, we also have the Russian-Ukrainian conflict that I believe is playing a role as well, not to mention not a terribly strong economy, is it? And all the inflation going on. I think accumulatively this has really put us on a really played significant roles in what we're seeing here in the market. I do think this is all temporary, however, but I also will add it very well could get worse before it gets better. Everything I'm looking at kind of suggests that to be the case. Now, I will add that Vitalik Buterin kind of has been making some very strong statements on his feelings on what it appears to be approaching a crypto winter, frankly. Vitalik Buterin kind of putting out the message like, hey, for those who have had a lot of experience with a long history in crypto markets, knows that this is an incredibly advantageous time for accumulation, right? And Vitalik Buterin has kind of doubled down on this message in a few different interviews just over this past week and has expressed this. So take with that what you will. I happen to have a pretty high opinion of Vitalik Buterin. I think he's a pretty brilliant mind. And plus, obviously, he's been around, involved in crypto long enough to have witnessed a veteran's eye view, shall we say, of the crypto markets. I'll see what's going on in the chat. Hunter in the mix. Good to see you. Maxwell as well. Says T-Kang is the best bar now. T-Kang is very, very, very low right now. So, it definitely could be interpreted that way. But, I always like to pull for an underdog. Swift Lipinski in the mix. Esteban, I think I already gave you a shout out, but I think I'm caught up on folks that are active in the chat. Now, let's get to, let me extrapolate a little bit further on the Vitalik Buterin thing. This article I came across just this evening, came out today. Ethereum founder explains crypto winter upside. Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin said the digital asset universe could see some benefits from the falling crypto coin prices. Bloomberg writes, the declining prices accompany a reduced interest in investment in coins referred to as crypto winter. The prices have been falling since November, when crypto was at an all-time high in terms of price. According to investors and speculators, one influencing factor might be the reduction of massive stimulus that happened because of the pandemic. I think that could have like a little bit of an effect, but I wouldn't say that that's like a major part of it. They welcome a bear market because, now listen, this is a direct quote from Vitalik Buterin. This is something I want each and every one of you guys to hear. Buterin said a lot of people who have experience with cryptocurrency welcome a bear market, including people who are very deep into it and are building things. They welcome the bear market because when there are these long periods of prices moving up by huge amounts like it does obviously make a lot of people happy, but it also tends to invite a lot of very short-term speculative attention. Buterin said the winters are the time when a lot of these applications fall away, okay, and you will see which projects are actually long-term sustainable, like both in their models and in their teams and their people. So basically what he's saying is almost like these bear waves and these crypto winters almost kind of have a very necessary Darwinian effect where only the strongest survive. And it's a thinning of the herd. And very few people would argue against the basic concept that the crypto market has been overly saturated, and it certainly had been. I think we were up to around 15,000 different coins last time I checked before these recent downturns. So I think we're going to see a tremendous thinning of the herd. I think this is a healthy thing. I think there are a lot of silver linings to these type of market trends. Zombie Doge Army coming in with the first super chat of the night. Thank you, Baxter. Thank you, Zombie Doge Army. I always appreciate your continued support, enthusiasm, and energy. Thank you so much, man. Richard Cheese bringing it with 5 New Zealand dollars. Appreciate it. You're number one. Well, you have I'm glad I'm somebody's number one. So thank you, Richard Cheese. Dylan McDougall. That's a name I haven't seen in the chat in a while. Good to see you back in the mix. Now, we are going to get to all things Elon very shortly here, guys, and we're going to talk all about that. There's some really amusing stuff going on there. So, let's see here. Benzinga also reporting here. Crypto is crashing, but Vitalik Buterin isn't worried about a crypto winter. So here's Vitalik Buterin, one of the most brilliant minds in the game, and somebody that's for considering how young he is, he's very seasoned with crypto, with his experience with both blockchain and his involvement in the crypto markets, and he isn't showing any concern at all. Now, the recovery seen. Let's see. Buterin said that the crypto market downturn, which is revered as a crypto winter, is good for the crypto universe. Bloomberg reported, citing the crypto billionaire. Crypto winter is a term coined to refer to a steep sell-off in digital assets that's sending a chill down the spine of invested in the assets. The people who are deep into crypto, especially ones building things, a lot of them welcome a bear market, and we are seeing that. We are seeing that in the numbers actually, where over 60% of Bitcoin investors have not moved any of it, have not sold at all over the past year. That is a tremendous high holder count for the Bitcoin. I wish I had the numbers on Dogecoin, what that would be, but I would suspect that it's just as high, if not higher. So the short sellers and the kind of the day trading kind of strategy inspired folks in crypto, I think they're going to run out of steam. And I think they're already starting to run out of steam because we have enough data to show that there is a tremendously high amount of long-term holders from Bitcoin on down in terms of the most popular, highest market cap cryptos anyway. And so I think this can only last for so long. I'm not saying things are going to get parabolic and wild style, but if I had to make an estimation of what I think is going to happen over the course of the next month, say, I think things are going to get even worse. But I think that it will be pretty temporary. And I think things are going to stabilize and start to get on the upswing. And I think that's all going to happen within the next 4 weeks. And I think it's going to happen in that order. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But, let's put a bookmark in this and see how my predictions play out. Let's see here. Let's go to the next story, Morning Glory. I got a lot of notes here and a lot of stuff I want to cover, but why don't we just kind of skip ahead? Why don't we cheat a little bit and let's skip ahead? Let's skip ahead to the title of this live stream. Let's skip ahead to the title of the artwork. And let's also acknowledge that Jason Huffman just gave me a super sticker of $10. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you right back. And thank you for your long time support, Jason. Always awesome to have you in the mix. This really is the best community in all of crypto YouTube. Even though the numbers are low right now on streaming because it's not only Sunday night, but we are late into the twilight. But it's quality, not quantity here on this channel. Quality, not quantity. And you guys really exemplify that, honestly. Zombie Doge Army coming in with a $2 super chat. Is that a Cybertruck beanie? No, it's not. I'm actually still waiting on my my Dogecoin Tesla orders. So no, it's not. It's just a plain old beanie. It's one that I've had for quite some time. I got it from the Tim Pool collection. Anyway, get this, you guys. So what we are seeing from the legacy media, particularly more than ever over the last week and a half or so, I would say, we are seeing a very concerted, calculated effort to essentially try to cancel Elon Musk, or at least severely tarnish the reputation and efforts to slow his roll and diminish his influence. Essentially, they weren't able to do this with Joe Rogan. It's become very apparent now. They tried, they threw everything against the wall to see what stuck. A few things almost stuck, but it didn't last long, and it's just made Joe Rogan, for example, more popular and more relevant than ever. Since then, they have seemingly set their sights now back to Elon, except in a more intensive, more coordinated fashion. We are seeing this now. And they are really pulling out all stops. They're really pulling out all stops. Everything from attacking him from the Neuralink angle to really just pretty much just the idea that he's the richest man in the world and that He doesn't care about Earth, and he only cares about interplanetary travel and things like this. This is another kind of narrative that's been in the works slightly. And also, as the futurist, Futurism.com is reporting. Now get this one. This one found particularly amusing. The title of this article that came out today was Elon Musk reportedly has a new girlfriend who's several decades younger than him, written by a woman named Abby Lee Hood. Money can buy everything except perhaps emotional maturity, Abby writes. Elon Musk might be the billionaire CEO of Tesla and SpaceX and the Boring Company, but the 50-year-old is dating another young woman several decades his junior. What does this equate to? It means that Elon Musk is dating a beautiful model in her late 20s. Okay. And she went on to write, according to an exclusive published Friday in Hollywood Life, a new mystery girlfriend was photoshopped leaving Musk's jet and later identified as Natasha Bassett, who's set to appear in the upcoming Baz Luhrmann film Elvis, whose age is being miscellaneously reported as 27 and 29. Either we guess there's no real timeline to healing heartache. The new relationship comes only a few months after Musk split from his previous partner, Claire Grimes Boucher, who is 33. If you follow the old adage about half your age plus 7, Bassett still wouldn't hit the mark, and Grimes just barely does, being 1 year older than the resulting age of 32. And it's also worth noting that Musk has one child with Grimes and 5 of the previous marriage, and is as a doubting father, he enjoys family outings like taking his kids to the grocery store to watch poor people fight over toilet paper. Wow. Where do we begin on such salacious, ridiculous nonsense? It sounds like this was written in part by a teenager, mixed with TMZ, mixed with Huffington Post, mixed with, a gossip telephone line. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, firstly, this Karen, this essentially a social conservative, I mean that somewhat sarcastically, but not at the same time. You see, I'm old enough to remember when the people who were the most judgy and judgmental and Karen-esque were essentially Christian conservatives of the 1980s and 90s. And today, they are far leftists, essentially. This woman is trying to cancel Elon Musk for dating younger, beautiful women. This is a tale as old as time. And there's plenty of data to conclude and show that there are natural inherent attraction markers for young women to be attracted to older men. And there's these are multifaceted reasons and markers for attraction. Okay, and a lot of it I think has to do with confidence and certain level of prestige and intellect and things of this nature. This is just pretty much a big nothing burger. And this is incredibly petty, mind you. Well, I did a little bit of footwork and I looked at who was responsible for this article. Her name is, again, I'm looking back up here because, Abby Lee Hood. And I looked up her Twitter. We're going to look at her Twitter, guys. We're going to look at her Twitter. Because it makes a lot of sense. So just, why don't we explore this a moment, shall we? Why don't we explore Miss Hood, the esteemed writer of Futurist, who has been talking a lot of smack, a pretty heavy game against Elon Musk. Let's go to that. Just give me a moment here, guys. Here we go. All right. All right, there we go. We've got, let me blow this up for you guys. It's just, confirm your stereotypes, ladies and gentlemen. Confirm your stereotypes. Let me blow up this profile even a bit more here, shall we? I just find this rather enjoyable, frankly. Here we are. Abby Lee Hood. I write. She considers herself a writer for the working class. Well, I'm working class. I think most of you here are working class. Do you think a person like Abby Lee Hood is a good and accurate spokesperson for the working class? Of course, there's pronouns in bio. Describe yourself as a leftist redneck, poke salad queer, loves roller skates, motorcycles, and animals. Okay. I'm not saying she's a living meme, but she's kind of a living meme. Anyway, confirm your stereotypes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. On top of this, this is all just a tremendous nothing burger, in my opinion. Just a tremendous nothing burger. And these are even more and more desperate attempts in efforts to diminish Elon Musk's sphere of influence and popularity. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work because Elon is beloved by people of wide swaths of people from across the political spectrums and all over the world. And, you know, nobody is perfect by any means, but any reasonable, sensible person can see that the positives clearly exceed any of the negatives with Elon Musk. Not only do I not think that he's going to be canceled or can be canceled, but I actually think that these attempts are pretty much the last throes, right, of trying to stop what I see as a cultural sea shift taking place, particularly throughout America, that I think is spreading through other parts of the world. I think it's very healthy. I think it's very positive. We're tearing down old tropes and increasingly irrelevant paradigms, and people are waking up and looking for alternatives in information sources, news, entertainment. They're tired of being brainwashed. They're tired of marching to the beat of one drum. And I think Elon Musk is kind of like a representative of a catalyst towards this sea shift because he is in a position of power that none of us are. And I think so many of us gravitate naturally towards Elon because the things that he many times speaks upon and the way he kind of talks about things is a way a lot of people already feel. And so I think that is what's driving, at the heart of it, what's been driving the popularity of Elon Musk. Someone says TITS. Yes, the Institute of Technology and Sciences. Guys, I have applied to be the Dean of Admissions for the Institute of Technology and Sciences. I will let you know if I get that position. Scotty says, woman looks like she's out of her mind. It's kind of inspiring, too, because we've also been seeing large budget movies and films being created lately outside of the Hollywood circles in other parts of the country and have been recruiting very large pools of talent and very prominent directors and actors. And I think we are in the middle of a cultural sea shift that I find very exhilarating, very encouraging, very exciting. And it'll be really interesting to see where all this goes, guys. So anyway, moving on. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Anyway, I just like to add on to that last article and what I was talking about there. Remy stole my English hat here, trying to get my attention. Are you going to start up again? We took a long road trip today to get inventory for my business, and didn't get home until maybe about 2 hours ago. And Remy was very good on that whole ride, which was very uncharacteristic of her because she's usually a complete spaz in the vehicle, but she was really chill. But I think she's about to not be chill, guys. I think she's about to not be chill. She's definitely stepping up to co-host position right now. Remy. See, she's just jealous, guys. She's just jealous. Anyway, as I was saying, there is nothing wrong with a 50-year-old man dating a 29-year-old woman. There's nothing wrong with it. Aside from it being completely legal, I think it's well within the bounds of nature. And furthermore, I don't think there's anything wrong with a 50-year-old woman dating a 29, 30-year-old guy. And furthermore, for someone who describes themselves as a redneck leftist and incredibly a bastion of tolerance, this seems like incredibly judgmental, overly critical, nannying, Karen-esque behavior. And I find these dichotomies strikingly ironic and hypocritical. Anyway, that is the last point that I will make on that story, guys. On that story. Let's go to the next one. Kevin O'Leary, guys. Kevin O'Leary. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary expects Bitcoin to appreciate dramatically in the next 2 to 3 years. Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful, has shared what he thinks about the price of Bitcoin will be in the coming years when he said institutions get the go-ahead from compliance departments to invest in Bitcoin. The price of the cryptocurrency is going to appreciate dramatically, Kevin O'Leary says. He explained that the many institutions are not allowed to invest in Bitcoin, stating that's well known because it just hasn't been ruled by the regulator yet. So as a proxy to getting exposure to Bitcoin, they buy the equities of public Bitcoin mining companies, Marathon, Riot, etc. O'Leary detailed. Now listen to this. This is the meat of it, guys. This is the direct quote from Kevin O'Leary just today. You want to talk about Bitcoin going to 100,000, 200,000, and even 300,000. It is going to happen when institutions can finally buy it. I can tell you with certainty right now, Mr. Wonderful said, because I service sovereign wealth funds and pension plans. He continued, in indexing businesses for all of the hype around Bitcoin, none of those institutions own a single coin. And they are not going to until their compliance departments allow for ESG mandates. In addition, he noted that crypto asset class itself has to be compliant. Last quote I'm going to read from him on this. When they do get the go-ahead, the price of the coin is going to appreciate absolutely dramatically. And he thinks it's going to happen within the next 2 or 3 years. So we are talking about Kevin O'Leary predicting a Bitcoin to going to be in the range of 200 to 300,000 within the next 2 to 3 years. Folks, I absolutely think the scenario is on the table. I absolutely agree with the general sentiment that he's conveying here. In that once these companies are allowed to buy Bitcoin, I think the market's going to go absolutely bullish, banana style. And this is going to have a tremendously cascading effect on down. It's going to affect Ethereum. It's going to directly affect Dogecoin for the better. It's going to affect XRP, etc., etc. And so I think Bitcoin to 200, 300,000 within the next 3 years is totally within the realm of possibility, totally within the realm of probability. I also tend to agree with the sentiments of Vitalik Buterin regarding crypto winter. That's apparently we are finding ourselves in. I think we'll continue to find ourselves in for a bit to come here. I do personally think this is not financial advice, folks. This is just my opinion. I'm just a dude with my own opinions. And I just share with you what's on my mind and what I'm doing. But I think that this is a tremendous accumulation period right now. I think Bitcoin under 40K is a bargain. I think over time it will prove to be so. I think Dogecoin at 14 cents is an absolute bargain over the long run. I think Ethereum under 3,000 is an absolute bargain, particularly over a long-term holding. So, and it gets, and on it goes. But I think this is really encouraging. I think this is really encouraging. We are getting some very Bullish statement sentiments in very bearish times from Kevin O'Leary, Vitalik Buterin, and the list goes on. Jason Huffman coming in with big Doge energy, keeping the lights on literally over here at Steele HQ. I love it. $50 make you holler. Appreciate the generous super chat. It's honestly, it's folks like Jason that enable me to spend as much time on this stuff as I do and able to prioritize it like I do. So thank you for that. Just because I miss y'all. We miss you back. Everyone give a big round of applause for Jay Huffman. Thank you so much, man. Jason, honestly, he's been here since the beginning. I love that guy. Let's see here. Let's go keep it moving. This is a pretty interesting story that I haven't gotten a chance to follow very closely, but I've been kind of monitoring it a bit. Cointelegraph reporting SafeMoon pump and dump lawsuit targets Jake Paul, Soulja Boy, and others. The new proposed class action lawsuit alleges that SafeMoon recruited a number of celebrities to lure investors in with misleading promotions. A new class action lawsuit demands a jury trial against A-list celebrities and social influencers for their alleged participation in classic pump and dump scheme relating to SafeMoon. SafeMoon, a BSC native cryptocurrency, allegedly recruited a number of celebrities to lure investors in misleading promotions. Some of the prominent names roped in by the class action include musicians such as Nick Carter, musician. Okay. Soulja Boy, Lil Yachty. Has anyone ever actually listened to Lil Yachty? Actually, when I've seen him in interviews, he seems like a very likable guy, but his music, it seems like almost a parody of itself. When I first heard the first Lil Yachty song I heard was the song called One Night, and I heard it like in a store or something, or I was like, what is this? This sounds almost like William Ho. You remember that guy, the failed contestant from America's Got Talent? Except it sounded like a rap version of that. And I looked it up. I looked it up on my phone, and then I looked up the YouTube video, and I watched that YouTube video in absolute awe. It was some of the worst music I had ever heard in my life, but it was so bad that I was like enthralled, and I was like totally enthralled by it. Anyway, on with the tangent. Getting on with here. Soulja Boy, Lil Yachty, and YouTubers Jake Paul and Ben Phillips. According to the lawsuit, SafeMoon and its subsidiaries mimicked real-life Ponzi schemes by misleading investors to purchase SafeMoon tokens under the pretext of unrealistic profits. Furthermore, the lawsuit points out numerous instances where they recruited celebrities successfully hyped the token enough to artificially increase the trading volume and price. While SafeMoon witnessed a number of multi-growth over the several months, sudden departure in the company's C-suite executives is when the token prices started plummeting, as evidenced by the graph below. Now, folks, this is a slippery slope here on how we define Ponzi schemes particularly as it relates to crypto, because sometimes I think people can throw this word around a bit excessively. Because you could describe that as any group of people enthusiastic about a project talking about it and hyping it up. So by that definition alone, I don't consider that a Ponzi scheme. However, and I did talk about this a bit as it was happening about a year ago, there were numerous, and I mean a lot, of hype from these celebrities and influencers around SafeMoon that had zero disclosure in terms of being sponsored by SafeMoon, and in terms of being partnered with SafeMoon. There was a very little transparency in terms of people saying that they're partners in the bio, or putting hashtag ad in any of the tweets. There was hardly any of that, particularly from this guy Ben Phillips, let alone the others aforementioned. And so essentially, SafeMoon kind of, in large part, I believe, ascended to popularity due to a really high, aggressive marketing budget and campaign by recruiting these influencers. And that's the way to do it. I more prefer projects that have strong organic growth in community. It's okay to retain influencers in the process, provided there's transparency there. Yeah. But SafeMoon was kind of solely relying on that strategy before it snowballed and became incredibly popular. And it did come in incredibly popular for a while. But I remember talking about this a bit, and perhaps in some of my previous engagement in discussions about SafeMoon, I was a little bit too, maybe a little bit too spicy. I ended up riling up some members of the SafeMoon community that never was really my intention. I was just asking questions. But seeing this unfold now with major litigation and lawsuits at this stage, now we're talking almost a year out since all this has transpired, is very, very interesting. Very interesting. And I think it's a good lesson to learn going forward, particularly when you observe new projects coming down the pike and all that. And I think we all need to be a bit more careful. Now, Bitcoin.com is reporting President Joe Biden to issue executive order on crypto this week. This comes as no surprise to you guys. It's something we've already discussed a few times now. The exec order will direct a wide range of government agencies to study cryptocurrency and central bank digital currency and come up with a government-wide strategy to regulate crypto assets, the publication conveyed. Now, those of you who regularly watch this show could probably pick up on the general sentiment that I'm not particularly super fond of this particular administration. That being said, I try to cover things as fairly as possible, and I am eagerly awaiting what this executive order is going to transpire into. I'm eagerly awaiting the consequences and results of essentially what is forming under this new branch to study and regulate crypto from the administration. I think this is, if I had to guess, I think this is going to be a mix of good and bad. I think the upside of it is once we bring in some basic regulations, that is going to have a natural effect in boosting the adoption and acceptance of crypto. I think that is the main upside of that. this. The downside, of course, is government overreach and the strangulation of markets and the loss of certain losses of financial freedom and decentralization as it relates to investors. We're hoping that doesn't happen. No matter who's in power, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, I think the main thing that we do have going for us as crypto investors and traders is this: the government wants our tax dollars. So ironically, the thing that we loathe the most as it relates to our investments is also the very thing that I believe is going to protect us from the government demolishing and overly strangulating the crypto market. Because at the end of the day, cash rules everything around me. Greed, dollar bill, y'all, as the Wu-Tang Clan's most notably said in the 90s. And I think that's going to protect us as investors because they don't want to leave all that money on the table. And I think that's more than likely anyway, no matter who's in power, going to spare us from being from the market being strangulated because they want to collect all those tax dollars. They want to collect all our annuals. I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a consequence of both good and bad. I think once things kind of settle down and people see that the sky isn't necessarily completely falling with this regulation coming, I think that's going to set in with the investors, and I think at that point we're going to see a pretty significant turnaround in the market. Swift says, I feel like other countries laugh at us so hard. That's who they have leading their country. As Remy knocks over my water and onto my power source of my computer, that is very inconvenient. Very inconvenient. Can you please give a cleanup here? Thank you. And you might have to put her away. Thank you. Remy just really acting up here. Are you guys even surprised? Okay. Next up here, this is kind of interesting. Bill Maher shreds LeBron James, John Cena, and Elaine Gu stop kowtowing to China. HBO host Bill Maher slammed NBA star LeBron James, actor John Cena, and skier Elaine Gu for their actions related to China in his new rule segment on Real Time. Bill Maher, this is a direct quote from Bill Maher, "Is that cool now to choose to represent a totalitarian police state over America?" Maher asked. "The Olympics pretends to only be about sports, but of course the games have always been a bit of a proxy war for which country has the best system. And by choosing Team China, Elaine Gu became a living symbol of China's triumph over the West, which wouldn't bother me so much," Bill Maher said, if I thought China had triumphed over us in ways that really matter, but they haven't." Bill went on to say, "Now we do have human rights issues here at home, but we're still at least another 3 years, a democracy based on freedom, and they are an authoritarian surveillance state based on how would you like to disappear for a few months." So Bill Maher definitely getting a bit spicy there, and striking back against the common narratives from celebrities. So I just thought that was kind of a cool thing to see. Now, CoinDesk is reporting. Let's get on to the next story here. So the Ethereum annual conference in Denver has just finished up, and Ethereum Denver hackathon finalists take aim at adoption barriers. And the closing remarks were by Vitalik Buterin himself. Sino Global Capital tweeted out, "The second Solana hackathon has successfully concluded with interest from projects from all over the world. Our Chad's Omniscient Asian and a couple other Twitter users took this opportunity to go through all the projects and drop some free alpha. Here's some interesting points to monitor." So perhaps the most exciting submissions, however, were focused on privacy with deployment with zero-knowledge proofs, as well as greater world integration. So yeah, it was cool to see. I would love to go to ETH Denver, perhaps even next year or the one after. It looked like a good time. And particularly, there's also footage and pictures and video that's come out of Vitalik Buterin wearing Doge pajama bottoms, like these furry pants. Have you guys seen any of these pictures of Vitalik Buterin wearing furry Doge pajama bottoms? And there was actually articles written about this very thing, which made it even that much more hilarious, and it's just really good to see. And this was recent. We've seen Vitalik Buterin, of course, wear Dogecoin T-shirts in the past, and it's great to see him wear Dogecoin furry pajamas just over the last couple days here. So obviously Doge on the mind. You guys know that also Vitalik Buterin joined the Dogecoin Foundation as an official blockchain advisor. So he is very fond of dog money. Again, you guys, I think the future is bright, incredibly bright for both Ethereum and Dogecoin. And I think they're going to be working side by side together symbiotically to help each other fill in the gaps where one has weaknesses and others do not. I think this can't be I think this can't be overstated enough on the dramatic impact that I think that this is going to have on the both popularity and the value of Dogecoin and Ethereum. I have been saying now for the last couple weeks, I do think at some point within the next 24 months, mark my words, I can't say for sure it's going to happen, but I have a very strong feeling that Ethereum over the next 24 months is going to have a moment where it overtakes the market cap of Bitcoin. I do not think Bitcoin dominance is a permanent fixture. I do think that eventually, and I think a bit sooner than most people even realize, that Ethereum is going to take the number one spot. I do see a long-term future of a high probability where Dogecoin then ascends to number 4, number 3 market cap, and perhaps even flirt with number 2 off and on. And I think all this is going to happen much sooner than most people anticipate. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise if we start to see these kinds of shakeups over the next 24 months and next 24 to 36 months. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. I love it when Dave from Barstool threw LeBron's pizza on the floor and said 1 bite. I did see that. That was awesome. LeBron's, I can't read the rest of that, but thank you, Alan. Gotcha. Ethereum has so many use cases and things of that nature. Scotty Suitcases says, yeah, it's a really good point, Scotty, because like I've said in the past, Ethereum's not going anywhere. Ethereum's the number one go-to as far as what's transacted on the NFT market. It's the number one go-to on the DeFi market and the gaming market. And it's going to remain the king there, particularly as we're going to see developments of Ethereum 2.0 finally come out this year. The Doge Ethereum bridge also going to be coming out this year. We're going to see further adoption for Dogecoin when we're going to see full acceptance of Dogecoin integration as it relates to Tesla. And as we've seen now, Elon Musk also taking the mantle to not only push for adoption for Tesla, but through drive-in movie theaters and diners as well. I do believe that once Tesla makes this announcement, and we have full Dogecoin integration with Tesla, there are a lot of massive, huge investors and Bitcoin investors that I believe they're using that decision kind of as a barometer of validation before they jump in. I think this is going to cascade a ton of money into Dogecoin and really get exciting pretty quickly. And we could see mega C shifts, frankly. I'm not saying for sure this is going to happen, but I think it's a decent probability, and it's certainly on the table. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. H-bar is definitely going to be top 10. Swift says, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I think H-bar is hey, listen, H-bar's got great utility. It's got super active development. I'm just not super familiar with the H-bar community, so I can't speak firsthand on how bullish I think the community is. Now, I will say this, keep an eye on XRP. I think XRP is going to continue to really dominate the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Coinbase reestablishes their relationship and opens purchasing up for XRP within the near future. I think is inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it's just not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when in that regard. XRP performing in very exciting manners, particularly in such a bearish market. So watch for XRP, in my opinion, to continue to do big things. Now, once they win their legal embattlement, I do believe that they will, with the SEC, I think we're going to see XRP likely rocket pretty substantially. And after that, I do believe that we're going to see XRP being added to most major exchanges. So anyone getting into XRP right now, before these things happen, it's just my personal opinion, is probably doing something very, very wise. But I think there's a lot to look forward to. Guys, I do think this is an incredible accumulation period happening right now. My expenses with my business right now, my day business, have been pretty significant, but I'm still been setting aside small portions of money per week to invest and accumulate during this market. So in the near future, Swift says, people are going to be like, I wish I could have bought so much more ETH under 3K. I completely agree. Yeah, and I was expressing that earlier in the show. Listen, I think over a period of time in the not so distant future, anyone who's been accumulating Bitcoin under 40,000, anyone who's been accumulating Ethereum under 3,000, anyone who's been accumulating Dogecoin under 15 cents, under 20 cents, I think is going to be seen as very wise, very wise in the not so distant future. And I think, particularly when we look back in 2 to 3 years from now, I think a lot of people are going to be kicking themselves in that regard. So it's good to see that, we still got a solid crew of night owls here. It's about 1:45 in the morning in my neck of the woods. I'm still buzzing on some caffeine, guys. Honestly, I had to do a fair amount of caffeine, even though it's not the best for you, to really be productive throughout this weekend. I mean, duty called, and I had to put a little pep in my step in order to handle all my business. And I drove in my cargo van about 5-hour drive today before I got home here and threw together a show as quickly as I could. Look, I do think that getting into Bitcoin right now under 40,000. I still think there's a ton of money to be made of Bitcoin. I mean, don't sleep on Bitcoin. Now, I know those margins aren't as big and tasty as people chasing DeFi projects for the 100x, 1000x kind of thing. We all want that, of course. But keep in mind, when you invest in a project like Bitcoin, the risk factor goes down exponentially, right? Risk factor goes down exponentially. So I think it's easy to make the mistake that there's just not enough money, not a lot of money, and not to be made off of Bitcoin at this stage in the game. But folks, think about it. You're still very hard pressed in the stock market. Let's say if you put even just $1,000 into Bitcoin right now at about 39,000, and to watch it go to 200, 300,000, right? There's very few things in this world where you can see those kinds of gains over the course of a few years. So take for that what you will. Do you take Dogecoin in your business? Yes, I do. And I've only had one Dogecoin transaction, but yes, I do accept Dogecoin. I announced it on my business's IG page as well, and people were amused by it. They were amused by the addition. I'm kind of at the end of my notes for tonight, guys, so I'm just kind of freestyling, looking at the chat, seeing what you guys are talking about. Swift says, if there's ever one time to get into crypto, now would be the time. I truly believe that. Again, I agree with you. Vitalik Buterin agrees with you. I think right now is a primo accumulation phase. I'm not saying that things won't go even lower than they are now. I think that's a fair probability, but I don't think it's going to go a ton lower. I don't think it's going to go a ton lower than where it is now. And sometimes you can kind of cheat yourself over long-term gains by over-analyzing the most optimal time to get it, you know? So it's a balance. Scotty says I drink way too much coffee. I've definitely had one of those days where I've jolted my engines. You know, it's one of these things too where folks that are very impatient and short-sighted usually talk the most smack about Dogecoin, usually talk the most smack about top 10, top 12 crypto projects if they're not moving or doing anything substantial for 6 to 12 months. Folks, it's okay to have a few off months. It's okay to have an off year. But when we look at the crypto history in its totality as it relates to its trajectory, again, like I many times say, it's a tale, particularly when you're talking about the largest market cap projects, of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And some of these people, they get so caught up in the day-to-days that they mistake the 1 step back as the end of a project when we're about to take inevitably 2 steps forward. I do think we're going to see those 2 steps forward still happen within this year. Nene, there's a Tesla charging station already accepting Dogecoin. Yeah, I was talking about that on Twitter yesterday. I think it's really cool, and not only is it a charging station that is accepting Dogecoin, but will be Elon Musk's futuristic drive-in movie theater and diner will also be accepting Dogecoin. That will be in the Hollywood area. Again, I would love to see this a franchised idea that spreads throughout the country. Swift says I kind of hope things get a little lower so I can accumulate even more and let that rocket ship go. I'm right there with you right now. That's kind of what I've been doing. That's kind of what I've been closely monitoring. Steve, when you get a chance, look at Omi. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Omi. I think Omi is a very strong project. I'm not invested in Omi, and the reason why I'm not invested in Omi is not because I don't like the project. As I explained many times on the show, I'm not a man of high wealth. So sometimes you just got to pick your battles. So that involves me leaving projects on the table that I like, but I can't afford to invest in. And I think Omi qualifies as one of those. But I think there's a lot of potential there. I really do. Jason Huffman coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Jason. He says, thanks for the show. Best late night show ever. I enjoy hearing the latest news. Your thoughts. Chat room is best also. Just one man's opinion. I think that's a phenomenal opinion, sir. And I appreciate you for expressing it and sharing it and your super chats. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Yeah, as you guys know, you're my loyal listeners. Of course, you're my loyal listeners because we are going on late into the twilight, and you're here with me on a weeknight, going into Monday here. Look, as you guys well know, this channel is not like any other channel in the crypto space. It's kind of a variety show. I think we have more fun here. I think we cover a more interesting variety of topics here, while keeping a strong emphasis on crypto and particularly dog money. I don't see anything else like this out here, and I never claimed to be the biggest crypto guru or financial expert, but I do think that overall my business acumen and my judgment is very solid and very strong. What I can tell you guys is that my portfolio, even now in this bear market, is green, is overwhelmingly green. So without getting into any more detail than that, my portfolio is comfortably in the green. So I think where I may come up shy in some of my my in-depth knowledge on technical analysis, I think I make up for in instinct. And furthermore, what's interesting is technical analysis isn't a foolproof way to predict the crypto markets. I mean, if anything has showed us that, it's the last few months, right? The thing that makes crypto markets particularly uniquely interesting to me is it's part technical analysis and it's other part a lot of extraneous societal factors and trends and happenings and statements that affect the crypto market so substantially, much more so than any other markets. And a lot of it's about strong communities banding together. You know what I mean? And so if you're not keeping a close eye on these things, and if you're not respecting the gravity of those things as it relates to the crypto market, I think you're going to get it wrong a lot more than you're going to get it right. And I think that's so much, I think that's a thing, one of the main things that I think a lot of the crypto channels that solely focus on technical analysis kind of miss and don't appreciate enough. That's just my opinion. Swift says when people get nervous start talking about selling, that's my sign to accumulate. Yeah, I mean, Warren Buffett has infamously said so much as well. I mean, a lot of time the real wealth gets made, the game-changing wealth gets made when you exercise courage in fearful markets. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of truth to that. And again, not to quote Warren Buffett again, but you know, he also infamously said that the stock market is the process of trading wealth from the hands of the impatient to the patient. I think that's incredibly applicable to the crypto market, to put it mildly. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you guys, this is a long journey, and again, I've been emphasizing it more and more, but I think it's really I've been emphasizing this for a reason, guys, because I think people need to hear it emphasized even more so now that we are in a bear market. But the overwhelming majority of crypto millionaires and crypto multi-millionaires got that way through holding high utility coins with strong communities over the course of several years. Okay, several years. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind going forward. Slow and steady runs the race. Even though the crypto market has an incredibly high volatility, it still is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It still requires a lot of tenacity, a lot of patience. And that's the reason why I started this channel, so we can really enjoy the ride. I'm here for the long haul. I think many of you are here for the long haul as well. So let's build an awesome community, right? Let's build an awesome community while we are essentially playing the waiting game. And yeah, let's have a lot of fun along the way. I hope all of us will get wealthy off our investments. I think there's a pretty good probability that most of this community, from what I've witnessed, is going to do pretty well. I think most of this community is exhibiting the sort of tenacity and patience that's required to give yourself a high probability of ending in that big W column that we all want. No one wears a denim jacket like Steven Steele. Hey, I'll take it. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Scotty. Hopefully this Vegas thing can come together. We had Rock Lobster in here briefly on the last show or the one before that, and was talking about the Vegas weekend or perhaps in May. So let's see where that ends up. I don't think I'm getting a lot of sleep tonight, guys. I'm actually very sensitive to caffeine, so caffeine affects me more substantially than the average person. Put it that way. I've actually, not a lot of you guys know this, but I actually deal with an autonomic nervous system disorder, so I think that's in large part why caffeine affects me so significantly. We are going to win. I believe it. I receive it 100%. 100%. You know, that's one thing I find so inspiring about the crypto markets is there's a pretty good chunk of it that is reliant upon the communities and the enthusiasm of the communities. I find this incredibly empowering and inspiring. And there's no community, in my opinion, in the crypto sphere that exemplifies the power of that more than the Dogecoin community. I mean, the amount of long-term holders that we are seeing, no matter where the market is. I mean, folks, consider this. Dogecoin has been top trending in technology on Twitter repeatedly this last week. The last couple weeks, just repeatedly over and over again, top trending. What's going on? We're in a bear market. Things aren't going well, but the community is having fun, and they just keep trending. They keep staying on top of it. It's awesome. It's great to see. It's great to see just that level of almost stubborn tenacity, right? It's and I believe that this is an incredibly bullish sign of a project that has an incredibly high probability to do exceedingly well over a long period of time, right? And even like Vitalik Buterin described when he was talking about crypto winter, we are seeing a thinning of the herd. And guess who's going to survive the thinning of the herd? Communities like Dogecoin. They can't cancel Elon Musk. They can't cancel Dogecoin. They can't cancel your man, real deal Steven Steele. And they have tried. They have tried. Yes, you always want to keep those notifications on because you never know when I'm going to go live. And sometimes I go live at very unconventional hours. So that's why it's important. If you've already subscribed, put those notifications set on all. It's crucial. Have them set on all. Yes, indeed. But I have the patience. I think many of you guys do as well. And you know me. I stream whether the market is doing exceedingly well or it's totally eating you know what. I'm on here. I'm doing it night after night after night. And I will always be that way. I'm not a fair weather streamer. Hey, listen, it's easy. It's easy to be a crypto-centric live streamer when things are going really well, when the market's going really well, right? All of a sudden you see tons of people streaming and doing market watches. It becomes much more of a less popular thing to do when we see bear markets last for considerable periods of time, pretty much like what's going on now, right? But at that point, too, it's also important that you're building strong communities and friendships and things of this nature to keep people engaged, to keep people excited about not only their investments, but about what we're building. And that's another reason why I do this show. Stephen, I want to ask about what's going to happen with miners when Doge becomes POS. Great question. And it's one I'm tempted to go in depth now, but let's just say this. Let me just tell you this. I'm going to have a surprise guest on the show very soon who's uniquely and specifically qualified to cover this in depth. And I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it for the live show. And it's in the near future. And I'm getting texts. Now, someone's talking about a pants-off dance-off. Hey, no judgment. Oh, my goodness. So, I think we still have a lot to be excited about, folks. A tremendous amount. When we look at the amount of things that are going for Dogecoin and the amount of attention that is being paid to Dogecoin, still within this sort of market, and the size and scope and the enthusiasm of the community, I think it's just extraordinary. And most projects would trade anything for that. Where is Nick Balls? You know, he's just busy doing other things. Nick is a retired 33-year-old due to his Dogecoin investments. So sorry guys, I'm just like making sure my computer's charging so it doesn't go dead. So I'm kind of distracted. Just give me a moment because I realize my power source is disconnected, and I got to make sure it's reconnected so I don't lose power, so I can keep streaming here, guys. So just give me a moment. I'm handling that. Yeah, I've been operating without a co-host for a bit, you know. You know, it's difficult. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of time to stream as much as I do. And that's a big level of commitment to ask of somebody. So, you know, it's something that I've decided to do, but I understand why it might be too much for others. But Nick Balls is just getting jacked every day. He's pretty much the resident bodybuilder of Doge. Yeah, I do enjoy some South Park. Their pandemic episode was particularly epic. Remy has been locked in my bedroom because she was just getting so wild style. She almost spilled water on my computer. I mean, she was just acting up. So she's just chilling. She's sleeping and resting in there right now. Audio Freak calling for a surge. It could, things could happen very quickly, as we've seen here. Things could turn around very quickly. You never know. And many times at moments when you least expect it. But I will be here, rain or shine, up or down. You know how I do, you guys. You know how I do. Oh my gosh, yeah. I guess South Park's been on 25 years. That is wild. That's wild. I don't think it's been on quite as long as The Simpsons, though, right? Yeah, water and electronics are not the best combination, guys. They really aren't. Not the best combo. I read the interesting tweet about Street Fighter 6 coming out. Have you heard about this? So, Japanese developer Capcom announces Street Fighter 6 for the first new numbered entry into the fighting game series since 2016. Hopefully, it'll contain that iconic pixelated vibe. You know. Are they bringing back Grand Theft Auto? I hope so. I quite like Grand Theft Auto, particularly the Miami one. Heard rumors about it, but not sure. Not sure. I'm not a huge gamer, but there are a few select games that I really enjoy. GTA being one of them. GTA Miami being one of them. Be violent. Oh man. Well, guys, this has been enjoyable. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. Thank you for joining me on this late twilight edition of Steele Live. This has been great and a perfect day to really end my day here. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for support, for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow night, so make sure each and every one of you guys have your notifications set on all. Make sure each and every one of you guys have your notifications set on my Twitter as well, so you can stay dialed in and not miss a beat. Particularly, thank you for my super chatters for keeping the lights on over here. Until next time. Also, my DMs are always open on Twitter, so feel free to reach out with questions and to say what's up or whatever. But until next time, this is your man, Real Deal Steele, signing out. See you guys. Just a piece of